introduction, and let us now begin this presentation, which is the keynote, the first keynote in fact by IOMC this year. So this kind of teaching is actually a little difficult, and I would like if all the participants actively participate throughout the keynote, and I have an eye on the chat window, and I would be just seeing what you people type, and we can you can stop me anywhere if you want me to repeat something. If you have some queries, you can put it in the chat window. If it is possible, I'll answer it immediately. Otherwise, we'll take up a few questions maybe at the end. But this type of teaching is very difficult because you're just sitting in front of your laptop and staring at your screen, and you don't get any feedback from the participants. So I'll be very happy if you start giving me some feedback through the chat window. I'll be happy if you can just give your brief intros in the chat window so that I come to know who all are actually actively listening to me. So we can get some things there, and if you have some questions, please put those as well in the chat window. Now we have a few participants right now who are online. So let us begin by mind mapping and what mind maps are. So have anybody heard about mind map before, like maybe before 2014? Did anybody come across? Yes. Okay. Mustafa knows. Anybody else? Can you just type in the chat windows? Let me see how many of you know about what mind map is. Can we get some responses? No. Can we get a few more yes or no, Y's and N's in the chat window? Okay, okay, we get a few why, a bit yes, no. Okay, that's fine, that's fine. Mustafa, can we, because we are getting the chat thing as audience questions, so can we do something that we get to know who is asking these questions? If you can change that, so I can personally address a few queries which come up. Okay, we are getting some response.
Sure, Dr. Gupta.
From the participants.
Yeah, I think the best way perhaps to keep this communication from the audience alive as well, because they are communicating through the question box, which is I think easier for them. What we can do is I would post it right away to the question box for the audience of for the view of everyone as well as you. So if there is any question, you could perhaps address it on as you move on throughout your slides, or perhaps you could keep it, and if you decide that it's best to address it at the end, you could do so. At the end of the workshop, we would also unmute the microphones for anyone if they are interested to introduce themselves or perhaps ask questions or give you few further comments.
Okay, so what we'll do is those I have heard of mind maps was from one of my physiology professors. That's good. Just put your name after that, so I keep seeing things. Avinash. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Just give me brief inputs in the chat window with your name. That should be very nice. Thanks, Avinash. Okay, so talking about mind maps is something. Whenever I think about mind maps, the first person which comes to my mind is Tony Buzan. That's Tonypuzan. Tony Buzan is the person who first got mind maps into picture a long way back, and he is the person who did a lot of studies on learning and why how we study and how should we improve our memories, so organizing our thoughts and how the brain would respond better to the inputs which we take while reading a book or anybody. So this is mind maps and why is it important learning tool for doctors. And this session is a teaser in which I'll be showing you a bit of what mind maps are. And because we are in an age where marketing is very important, so the actual session of IOMC, which will be conducted in April, I would be actually demonstrating you how to make a mind map using the softwares which we have. But in this, let me just introduce you to the concept of what mind maps are. And that's my website. If you want to know more about me, you can always visit that. So why do we need mind maps or probably any other tool to enhance the learning of doctors? Because we feel doctors are the ones who have to study a lot, and this is an ideal bookshelf of any doctor. It's full with books, and believe me, there are pages and pages of material, and we have to go through all this to write our exams clear, and then throughout our phase, throughout our life when we are practicing medicine, we keep going back to these books and refer to things. Some unusual case appears, so we are the ones who have to read a lot books. So that is one thing. But do you think if we could compress all these books into sheets of papers and notes which we have prepared, and that makes us easy, like 1,000 words can be compressed into just a sheet of paper, which makes learning easy for us, which makes remembering things easy for us. That was a dream which people had, and then they came up with ideas on how to make notes. Because it is not always possible for you to read a book over and over again. It's for the first time which you may probably read it, but the next time you want that, can I get it in a compressed form? Can I get a notes so that I move faster through these books? I don't have time to read all these books many times. So what comes into picture now is the memory. So I read a book in my first year of medicine course. It was anatomy, and then somewhere after 2 years I am studying surgery, and I again need something from anatomy. So we have different memories. We have short-term memories, we have long-term memories, but how many of you think you have % memory and everything which you study stays in your mind forever? I don't think so. Most of us have, even those who say they have a photographic memory, have problems. Maybe everything is out of focus. So one thing which we people do to improve their memory is to repeatedly study the same thing over and over again. So what happens is, whenever you study something, the brain makes a complex connection of neurons, and the same thing if you repeatedly study for a second time, third times, so those connections are established in a stronger way, and that is the way how your memory improves. So repetition is always important, but what if I tell you you have to read those books 10 times? It's not possible. But yes, you read the book once, and the second time, if you have some tool which enhances your memory and establishes the same connections quite rapidly and save you a time, it would be really good for you. So the whole process of memory has 3 steps. First is encode, the second is store, and the third is retrieve. So encode is the stage in which you are studying a particular text or a particular topic for the first time. Your brain understands the subject, the topic, it encodes it, and what does it encode it into? If it is a computer, it encodes everything into zeros and ones, that the binary digits, right? But brain encodes everything into neural connections, which, and there are possibly so many neural connections which are possible in our brain, but the encoding in our brain is all chemical process. The second step comes to storing whatever you have encoded, storing piece of like a sentence, or storing a diagram, or storing any form of information in your brain. And can we have a quick chat again? How many of you feel what is the amount of brain which you use in storing? Can we get some percentages? Because what happens is if you have a 8 GB SD card, it would not store more than 8 GB, but it goes beyond it. It says we cannot store it. But the thing is, amount of information which our brain stores is probably yes, it may be, it's less than 10% of what it can store. So perhaps you never say that my brain has reached its capacity and it cannot take in any further information. No, never. It can store 10 times more information than what it actually stores, and to be a good guess, it's actually just less than 1% of the brain capacity is being used by a normal human being. So that's the immense capacity of your brain. And then the next thing is retrieve. So in the computer world, they say garbage in is garbage out, right? Garbage in is garbage out. So what happens is, the way you organize your ideas, thoughts in your brain, if you look at the before picture, if this is how you organize the ideas, information in your brain, it is very difficult for the brain to retrieve something from this, right? And if you organize things systematically, if you organize your thoughts properly, then it may be a lot easy for your brain to retrieve that information. So this is one of the key things which makes a good difference. Whenever during the process of encoding information, it is very important that the information is encoded in an organized way, and it is also encoded in a way which looks nice. Okay, there are teachers, they teach us so many things in life, but that's what I have read a lot of books by Tony Buzan, and I have also heard a lot of lectures by him through videos and through YouTube, and this is something which he says, and this is something which he is very worried about, is we are taught everything, but we are never taught about learning. Nobody has ever told us that this is the way you should learn, this is the way you should memorize things. They give us loads and loads of information, but they never tell us how we should learn the information. So Tony Buzan did a lot of experiments, and he read a lot about brain. And brain has been a recent development in medical science. A lot was not known about the human brain until, say, 10-15 years back. So the brain, presently what the concept is the brain has two hemispheres. One is the left hemisphere and the other is the right hemisphere. Okay, so on a lighter note, people say that my brain has two sides, the left and the right. And on the right side there is nothing right, and on the left side there is nothing left. But that's just on a funnier note. But now we know that the right side of the brain is more as the creative brain. It's more of the artistic brain, which believes in colors and creativity, music, and all these things. And the second half, the left half, is more of the logical brain, which believes in linearity, it believes in numbers, it believes in logic. So this is a very nice picture which depicts how these left and right brains work. Now, just a very quick response from you in the chat. Actually using, it's an opposite, and that's what we see. So many of you, most of you are right-handed. That's nice. That's nice. Thank you. So a lot of us are using the left side of the brain predominantly. I would not say we are not using the right side of the brain, but we are using the left side of the brain predominantly, which is more goes more by logic, and the creative aspect is a little lesser. But the other thing is both the sides of the brain have to work in synergy to get the maximum output. Some of you may argue that we are still using, even if we are using left brain, we are using half the capacity of the brain. But then I would say you try to run on one leg and see what happens, right? So the moment these two halves start working in synergy, your memory and your learning skills will not increase twice, but it would increase the moment this synergy happens. And this is one of the very important things which Tony Buzan always talks about. Okay, now let us come to something which is interesting. I come from a field which is public health, and this is the definition of public health, right? This is the definition of public health, and everybody has so many definitions and so much text which you have to study and remember throughout your study of medicine, right? So now let us do something. Okay, so I have this definition here as a Word file, and let us assume we are reading a book, and then we make notes in or with the book or maybe on paper separately. Okay, so now can I get back in the chat window, and can we just have some responses as to what are the things which you do while you make notes? What are the things you do when you make notes? Can we get some responses? Or when you read a book? Okay, we use keywords, underline, focus on certain keywords. Okay, that's fine. So what I understand, acronyms, that's interesting. Okay, so what I understand basically is, okay, we underline while reading, right? So the thing is, what we generally do is we underline things, we use a highlighter and we highlight things. So let us go through, or you probably pen down and highlight and put a bit of pictures, right? So let us read this. The public health is the science and art of, and then we highlight preventing disease, and then we highlight prolonging life. Okay, prolonging life and promoting health. Oops. Okay, let's go to the underlined format. Health through organized community effort. Okay, and sanitation of the environment and control of communicable infections and education of individuals in personal hygiene, the organization of medical and nursing services for early diagnosis and preventive treatment of disease, and for development of a social machinery to ensure everyone a standard of living adequate for maintenance of health. So organizing these benefits as to enable every citizen to realize his birthright of health and longevity. So is this what we all do? Is this how we generally read our books and we underline the keywords which we think are important, right? And then sometimes when we make notes, what we do is we organize this in a particular way. So let us say a few people who make notes say it's the science and art of preventing disease, and then prolonging life and promoting health and efficiency through, and then we give organized community effort for this thing, sanitation of environment, control of communicable infections, and education of individuals in personal hygiene, and then organization of medical and nursing services for early diagnosis and preventive treatment, and for development of social machinery to ensure everyone a standard of living adequate for maintenance of health. So organizing these benefits as to enable every citizen to realize his birthright of health and longevity. So this is something which we do, and now that we have computers, we do something more fancy. We can add tabs to it, right? And then sometimes we give numbers to it. Okay, we can give it a numbering. This is 0.1, 0.2, and 0.3, and then we try to give these numbers. Okay, so now another very quick response from your side. This is how you have been making notes. Is this all, or you have some interesting and innovative ways in which you improve your notes? Can we get some more responses? Can you add something to it? Can we make our notes more interesting? Can we make our notes more interesting? You have some ideas? Yes, what are the ideas which we have? Okay. Okay. So now the thing is, okay, that draw a figure. So now let me show whether it is. Okay, now let me show you what a mind map is. So this is a mind map. Okay, this is a mind map for this particular definition which I made in when I wanted to memorize this definition. So what we see here is, now let me tell you one thing. Mind maps is something which is highly personalized. Okay, my mind map will never be same as your mind map, because what I think is important or how I organize my thoughts may differ from what uh, how you do things, right? So this is a mind map which I have made so I can interpret it the best. But then even if you look at it, going through a paragraph of text and just looking at this, I think it is much easier to remember things seeing this picture. So now if I have put a central image and it says public health, so this is a mind map exclusively for the definition of public health, and this is a mind map exclusively for me, right? It's for me. So I am the person who has made it, and my brain knows how I made it, and my brain will interpret it the best. But anyway, if you go and the clock starts at around 12 o'clock, which is somewhere here, and then the clock runs this way. So this is something which our brain is tuned to, and the mind maps would also follow the same pattern. So let us start. So I put okay, let me use a spotlight. Okay, so this is the picture which I have used. So it shows two parts of the brain. One is the artistic side, the other is the scientific side. So what is public health? Public health is the art and science of, and then we have organized our thoughts. It is an art and science of what? First, preventing disease. Second is prolonging life. And what is this? Promoting health and efficiency through organized, what is this? Community effort. And then for sanitation of environment, control of communicable infections, education of individuals in personal hygiene, and organizing medical and nursing services. So this is medical and nursing services for. Now let us come to this side of the map. For early diagnosis, preventive treatment, and development of social machinery to ensure every individual, and what is this? This is standard of living adequate for maintenance of health. So organizing these benefits to enable every citizen realize his birthright of health and longevity. So a quick response of you, how many are happy with this mind map, and how many of you feel that this mind map, with this mind map, if I mail you a copy of this, so it will be easier for you to remember the whole definition next time. Okay. Okay, let me get some more responses and then I'll answer Mustafa's question. Can we get some more responses? I just introduced you to what a mind map is and how it looks. So, okay. It would have been, I would have given you a personal thanks if you had written your name with that awesome message. Okay, thanks Chinmay. Okay. I have a very few responses in the chat box, but some people, they're just... Okay, okay. So I now get a feel of what all of your queries are. What all of your queries are. Okay. Now let me tell you what this mind map is. Uh, how we made it and why is it more brain friendly. Okay. The first thing is this. Uh, this way of learning, it uses both the sides of brain. We have limited the text. See, it's if you read through a lot of text, it actually makes it takes more time than just seeing something. Okay, so reading somewhere which is written preventive and just seeing a cross, this would save you a lot of time when you try to remember back your notes. Okay, so that is one thing. The second thing is, see, we have a central idea. The central idea is generally represented by a picture, and it gives you the topic of the mind map, the chapter or whatever it is. And then we have these branches which are organic in nature. These are known as organic branches, and there is a reason why these branches are curved and not straight, because a curve is something which is natural and straight is something which is unnatural. So brain would read these better. Your trees are always curved. The rivers flow in a curved manner. Your roads are straight because something which is man-made, it's artificial. So these are more natural, and these curved branches are more friendly for the brain. The second thing is we are replacing a lot of things with images. Okay, so just this image tells me it's art and science, and this is prolonging life. So this is something. And then if you see, I have used the hierarchy to organize the definitions, because what happens is we are always taught to learn in a linear way. All the books have text written fashion. Okay, if just go back to the definition which I had put, everything is in a linear way, and it becomes really difficult for the brain to differentiate what hierarchy a particular concept is at. Okay, so if we are talking about sanitation of environment, everything goes in a linear way, but we now know, okay, environment, sanitation, it's a subset, it comes under this, right? So this is the other thing in which we have organized our thoughts. The other thing which we generally do in a mind map is we use only one word in each branch. We use just one word in each branch, and we try to replace most of the words with pictures as long as it makes sense to you. Okay, as long as it makes sense to you. So this is basically how but I organize my thoughts with this mind map, and I use it to use a lot of pictures and some coloring, and there is actually a lot we can do. If there's something which I often forget, I can add a cloud to that branch, and it tells my mind that next time you don't forget this important concept. Okay, now the second thing is a lot of you raise this question that it may take some time to make a mind map, prepare a mind map, right? So the concept goes is, I told you, the brain, if you have to increase your memory, you have to repeatedly study the same thing over and over again, right? So this mind map is just about a definition. It's just about a definition, but sometimes there are loads and loads of text which is written in books, and you can actually summarize a whole chapter into one mind map. You can actually summarize a whole chapter into just one mind map if the chapter has only limited keywords. if it's something which you have you already know, and many times it happens that we have loads and loads of text in the chapter, but actually the keywords are limited, then you can summarize the whole chapter into a mind map, and then the next time you are revising the chapter, it would take you 5 minutes to revise the chapter as compared to maybe half an hour if you had to read the whole chapter again. So yes, definitely this is a little time taking, but if you look at it this way, that you have to revise the things over and over again, and just tell me, you are ready to walk into for a Viva with an examiner, and you have made notes in your linear way, and you have those 25, 30 sheets, and you have to revise everything within 5 minutes just before you walk in. And on the other hand, you have 5 mind maps which are like these, and you just have to glance at this for 30 seconds to 1 minute, and it's fast for you to remember. And that is one thing which I say, people make their own mind maps, and their brain is interprets it so fast that the next time you see this, you would be actually remembering every word which was there in the book in lesser time than what you would actually do if your notes were linear, and if your notes were more of text and less of pictures and all these things. So that's what I would not suggest you to go for mind maps just a week or month before your exams, but this is the way when you are reading something for the first time and you are making notes. That's from day one. If you have a habit of making your notes in this way, believe me, just before the exams things will be a lot easier for you. And I have done quite a few. See, and this is something in which you are actually going to unleash your creative side, because if you see here, and you can actually get as naughty and as creative as you want. So this is birth right. So I didn't write the word birthright. I just put birth and right. And this is the WHO symbol. Okay, so this reminds me of the WHO definition for health. And this is just a long branch. Okay, so to realize the birthright of health, WHO symbol that reminds me of health, you could put something else. You could probably put this picture health over here, and longevity. So this is just a long branch. It doesn't have anything written on it, not even a picture, but this just long branch reminds me of the longevity. So you have to be creative, and initially it may not look a very good idea, but over the time, that's how I, because now I said I am an active mind mapper now. So in present times, if you start practicing this over and over again, maybe if you get very used to this thing, it will be, you can prepare these mind maps quite fast, and it's not necessary for anybody to use a computer. I use a computer because my skills of drawing are not good, so I feel more comfortable creating mind maps on computer. But there are so many creative people in this world, and they can draw much better and beautiful mind maps with their hand. All you need is just a sheet of paper, A4, and not in portrait mode, preferably in landscape mode. Start from the center, and just you need a few color pencils and your creativity, and you will come up with the really nice mind maps. And I would suggest you to Google mind maps and have a look at some of the best mind maps which were made by hand. The best ones are obviously made by hand, not by computers. So that was this thing. I wanted to introduce you to the topic of mind maps and advocate a bit so that you take this, but then again it's a personal thing. You should try it, and if you feel it enhances your learning, I think you can become an active mind mapper as I am today. For me, mind mapping is very important because uh, I make a lot of presentations. So this is using mind maps. I organize my thoughts well, so that I even present 3 hours lectures with just mind map. Because if I have organized my thoughts well, I can make any presentation. I don't need to. I never write those notes with me. Take it with me and read through it. My PowerPoints are never filled with loads and loads of text. I just use the concepts of images, keywords, and that makes the presentation much easier. And there are people who use and people who use mind maps for making shopping lists, for planning vacations. So if you get used to mind mapping, there are loads and loads of application. And for brainstorming, it is very uh, it's very important tool. So that was it. Now I would answer a few questions. Okay, so let us start with this one. Sir, can you guide regarding mind maps for drugs from pharmacology? Yes. See, the concept of mind mapping will be the same. If you are if you want to make a mind map on maybe aspirin, so what you can do is you can just write aspirin in center, and the first this thing goes off, and you write mechanism of action, and then you draw some pharmacokinetic graph. This is how things go. So instead of learning everything, you try to put everything. Okay, what is the half-life, and what happens, and all that, and then you write means pharmaco means where the drug is processed, and then you don't write here kidney. You just draw a photograph of kidney and just unleash your creativity. You can come up with some nice mind maps. So the concept is the same. Now, how are you going to apply this depends on you. So probably I would just on the other side I would put some photographs. So if it's nausea, vomiting, so I'll just put some photographs which reminds me of all adverse effects rather than going by words. Okay, is there any software you can suggest on creating mind maps? I personally use mind map. I'll just show you. I use iMindMap 7. This software is created by Tony Buzan's company himself, and it's a bit expensive, but this is by the creator of MindMap. This this thing is present, so I personally use that. I have actually a licensed version. It's the full software which I use because I do a lot of things with this. So yes, that's the link for iMindMap. You also get an iMindMap software free, but that has limited features. It doesn't have a lot of features. And then you also have this iMindMap which works on a cloud system. So your computer, your iPads, and your other phone devices all use the same. It means you can store your mind maps on the cloud and access it through any of your devices. So you have the cloud facility as well. Okay, I think they are very useful for definitions and mechanism. Actually, the use of mind map is tremendous. As I told you, people even use mind maps to plan their vacations and to prepare their shopping lists. Okay, and also, okay, so okay, websites that help in making mind maps. So there are these softwares which are available. Okay. Okay, so I think am I done with most of your queries? Okay, I'll not scroll up, but the thing is, if you have still any other questions, can you just put it at the chat window?
Dr. Gupta, I think you have addressed all the questions based on the questions that I've posted for you. I can see that you covered them all, and I also posted some of the comments for you, which you kindly went through and addressed them. If there's any last question, perhaps we have another 10 to 15 seconds. Please kindly post it. If not, we would like to thank Dr. Gupta for his time and also for being so kind to go over this very interesting topic and to give us a teaser which definitely kept us interested to listen to the full version of the talk, with perhaps more samples and perhaps more explanations during the conference. Dr. Gupta, I don't see any further question. So is there any last word or comment that you want to add before ending the session?
So last word is you have a month before we actually have the IOMC conference. So explore this world of mind maps. Go through Google. Just have a look at how people use mind maps for different purposes, and try a few mind maps on different topics which you are reading. And yes, please do send me your feedback. If you just type Dr. Puneet Gupta, you will find my email even on Google, and I have my own website as well, so you can find me anytime. So I will be very happy if you write to me your experiences which you felt by using these mind maps, and that would probably help me help you to overcome certain things, and that will help me improve this topic for further presentation for other medical students. So that's it, and thank you very much for listening so patiently for me, and I am giving you my website as well as my email, so please do stay in touch with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gupta, and we have shared also your email and website on the chat box with everyone. We also would like to remind everyone that we would have another keynote speech coming up next week by Dr. Nazira Dawood from USA, which is next Sunday. So please stay tuned and check IOMC website at www.iomcworld.com for further information. Thank you very much, Dr. Gupta, and to all our audience for taking part. We see you hopefully next week as well as during the IOMC conference.